for us with the video calls, with the Zoom dinner, Facebook messages, emails, the newsletter, the yoga session with Joey. Wow, it's so important for all of us. So we decided that it was time to do something for you. So just relax and be prepared for this special surprise for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, give me a second. Thank you, Diana. I'm now going to unmute our next visitor and let's spotlight her video. Let's see if I can find her. There she is. All right. This is Jessie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Jessie.
So I'm going to, once I get permission, unshare my screen and show you something that has been made by the DEE crew.
Permission granted. Got it?
Hi everyone, Mary here and Daisy, my little mascot for my event center here in Kentucky. Just wanted to send a sweet thank you out to David Tutera and his team. I appreciate all the inspiration you've sent my way the last few weeks. God bless y'all.
David and Joey, if there's one thing I know, it's that we're stronger together, and we're stronger together because of you. Thank you so much for bringing us together. We surround ourselves with those that think we are great because we are and because of you. Mwah. Thank you.
Hey, David and Joey, greetings from Wisconsin. I just want to thank you guys for everything you're doing for us during the COVID-19, since we're all quarantined and going crazy. But as someone once said, celebrate each day like a celebration, so let's all keep that in mind and stay positive.
Hi, David Tutera and your amazing team. My name is Chrissy Diaz from the beautiful island, Puerto Rico. Thank you so much for this amazing experience of the dinner Saturday. We are so excited. Thank you so much.
Hi, David and Julie. How are you guys doing? Lots of love to you and the girls. Hi from Ida too. Can't wait to see you in August.
Hi David and Joey. I'm so excited to be a part of the DTE family. I am Janet Williams from the beautiful island of Granta and the Turks and Caicos Islands.
David, it's Susan. Just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to coach and mentor us all. We are forever grateful for this wonderful opportunity. I hope to see you soon, and God bless.
Just wanted to personally thank you both for being so inspirational to not just me, but everyone in the DTE family. You both have went over and beyond what any of us could expect at a time like this. From your social media posts to your beautiful girls, to the meeting forums you've created, to an evening at dinner with you both. Who does that? You guys do. Thank you for lifting us up and helping us redefine the wedding industry. Cheers, David and Joey.
Hello, hello, hello from sunny Florida. Just wanted to send a quick thank you to you and Joey to just say we're so thankful for everything that you do for us in the industry and your uplifting, and I cannot wait to meet you all in August. I'm really excited and hoping that everything gets back to normal here soon so we can all go back to what we love to do the most, which is making things beautiful. So thank you so much.
Your power to connect and inspire people is amazing. So grazie for everything you do for us, and big kisses from Italy.
I'm also very grateful to you guys because you created a terrific atmosphere, fantastic atmosphere of friendship, which nurtured collaboration and further communication among the people who attended the DTA. And thank you to this, our friendship with Diana grew, and now we're starting a partnership together, and it's really helpful and great.
Hi, David. I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done during this time of being an inspiration and a thoughtful person from the heart. And I just want to say thank you to you, Joey, and your team for all the love and support you've given us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for consistently reaching out and staying connected. Thank you for sharing your optimism, your confidence and belief that things will indeed get better. And most of all, thank you for reminding us to find the passion, the humor and the light in what is a pretty dark time for a lot of us right now. It is genuinely sweet soul people like you that help keep this world turning.
David and Joey, how do I thank you enough for everything that you've done for me, for the industry, for this amazing group? There simply aren't words. Thank you for bringing me together with so many incredible people to whom I've made lifelong friendships, relationships, and connections with.
With everything going on right now, it's important that we find some more ways to stay connected. David and Joey, I really want to thank you for giving us some more opportunities to support one another. I personally cannot wait to spend some more time with all of you one-on-one at the DTE Orlando. Ciao for now.
I once was a writer for tech, systems and software to constantly check, but my world took a turn when Deanna discerned that with David and Joey we must connect. So now I craft copy on flowers and bows, basking and blogging in wedding MOs. It's all thanks to you, my DTE crew, for opening up my world to wonderful new pros.
Hey, it's Lindsay from New York. I just wanted to give a quick thank you for your patience, your kindness, and for creating a system that has helped us event planners to keep each other on our toes and to help us get through this hard time. You're absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in August in Orlando.
Hey, David and Joey, Christy from Jersey here. I just wanted to say how much I value and respect everything you're doing, and I'm so happy to be a part of the BT family.
Hi, David and Joey. I just want to say thank you for all the things that you do and for supporting this community. I'm so excited to attend the experience in August 2020. See you all soon.
But I did want to take a few seconds to say thank you to you both for your amazing leadership, especially during these uncertain times when we just don't know what tomorrow will bring us, nor are we able to control what the outcome will be. Your support and your guidance has been an inspiration and a motivation for me.
Thank you, David, for your kindness, your love, and your grace that you show to all of us. I'm so excited to be with you at DTE in August. See you soon.
Hi, David. This is Patrice from Jamaica. Just wanted to let you know that 2019 was a wonderful year for me. It's the year that I got high on possibilities, thanks to you, Joey, and the DTE family. And I just want to wish you all the very best. Can't wait to see you soon, and just continue to enable dreams. Love you.
Hey guys, Jimmy Price from Explosive Entertainment, and today I wanted to quote Walt Disney, and he says, the more you are in a state of gratitude, the more you will attract things to be grateful for, and I think that that quote says everything we need to hear today. David, Joey, thank you guys for being such a positive and wonderful light in our lives. We love and appreciate them. Mwah.
Your support over the last year has been amazing, life-changing for me, and I just want to say thank you for being such a great motivator, mentor, and just encouraging us to have hope. Thank you.
Hi, David and Joey. It's me. Just a quick note to say thank you. Thank you so much for everything, for all you do. Thank you for welcoming me into your world. And it's been an absolute pleasure working side by side and getting to know the both of you. I look forward to what lies ahead, and I look forward to celebrating with you in person sometime very soon, because whiskey awaits.
Thank you for being such a beacon of light in such a time of darkness and uncertainty. Really appreciate that you're giving us the drive to put some fire into why we started our business in the first place.
Oh, David, Joey, there you are. Love you guys. Thanks for everything you've done. You guys are awesome. Cannot believe how much you guys have changed my life and impacted me. Thank you for everything. Rock on.
Oh,
Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome.
David, Joey, take it away.
don't know how to. For that. That was really very, very special and amazing. And thank you for taking the time to put that together. It's very special. Very.
I think I just turned to Joey and said, sometimes you don't realize what you're doing because you're just doing it. So thank you for taking the time to let us know that I guess we are making a difference or doing something that actually can help other people. And we just do it because we're just, I'm kind of speechless right now, but we're just doing it because we love it. We're just being us.
We started this thing 4 years ago, not knowing what this thing was, calling it a symposium at that time because we couldn't call it a conference because it wasn't a conference. So we wanted to call it a symposium. And very quickly after that first year of doing it, we realized that we had something very special that connected people. And then as we saw after those first months went by, after that first one finished, and watching everyone on Facebook and watching the relationships continue and grow and blossom and more happen. And then we did the next one in Santa Monica, and there was another increase in this connection and this excitement that happened. And we realized, all right, this isn't a symposium, this is an experience. And so then we went to Bermuda, leaving California, leaving our backyard, going out to an island that neither of us had been to before, our site specs, taking some great guidance from Linda, to trust in Bermuda and the hospitality of Bermuda and that we were going to the right place. And we put it out there again, and we had a whole nother group of people show up with people from the first year, the second year, and now we have this new group. And now we just see this magic that continues to grow and create, and that it truly is this experience that sometimes we don't even realize that we created. But we didn't create it alone. We created it with all of you because all of you are so important to this process of the collaborations, the engagement, the looking to see how to grow, being open to want to grow, being open to saying, can I do something different? And I think that's even like what we're using this time period for is what do we enjoy doing? What don't we enjoy doing that much that we can maybe get rid of, or that we can do better and differently? And what do we miss that we haven't been doing that we should do more of? And so it's using this time period to find that and go.
Can you open all the windows so I can see who's on?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh,
Gallery view.
Gail. Hi, I can't hear Gail. I want to hear Gail. Gail, I don't mean to sidetrack for a second, but Gail, may I just give you a personal thank you? You took my breath away with what you sent me on my birthday, and it was Gail, thank you. It was just really from the heart, and I really, really appreciate that moment you took. And I really thank you so much. It means a lot, and it just knows it's all of this, all of you on these screens, and those of you that aren't on here and that were part of it. So I want to be able to open up the space right now. I know we have a little agenda, and I don't want to hold everyone too long, but I want to always leave with giving information and guidance. And if you have any questions first, I'd love to answer any. However, we're going to do that forum. But I also would like to talk about, as I open, the power of positivity and really embrace what exactly that means. I think it's an answer that's different for each of us. And we have different directions now, perhaps. And one of the things that I have been sharing pretty consistently, not intentionally, but pretty consistently, is how I think this moment in time can equate to two different directions. And it's not that either one is wrong or right, is that in some of you that may have been on some of the Zoom calls and video conferences I've done, I've been saying that we have two places to go. We are either going to accept our failures and our successes where we are and choose how to direct them to where we're going to be tomorrow. Or we use these moments, having been through several in my career, we use these moments sometimes as a crutch to lean on and throw up our issues and our problems and our failures and our excuses to be, it's almost a free pass is what I'm trying to say, is that, okay, we're good, I failed, or I haven't done the best I could, or I wished I was better, but here we are in this scenario where it's kind of like a free pass, I'll reconnect and restart when I can. That's not what this is. This is a separate scenario. We need to understand what we need to do differently, what we need to do better, how we need to be more successful, which, by the way, success is a completely different definition for each of us. And we can't allow this moment in time to not just be a pause, but what we're doing, both individually and together as a couple and as a partnership in business, is we're looking for new opportunities. And it isn't right now that we're going and making phone calls to find clients. This is not the time to find clients. This is the time to figure out what makes you stand out, that these clients, when they're ready, and they will be calling upon you because you're providing something that is very different, very unique, and very memorable. And something that before I jump to questions, that I want to get to is, what is your either business or brand DNA? And a lot of people don't know how to describe what that is, and you go online and look different things up, but what is a brand or business DNA? And the simplicity of that is that it's ask the question as if you were speed dating or dating online. I haven't done that, but just saying, if you were going to do that, how can you explain yourself super quickly, and of all the positive attributes that you have that make you want someone to get to go on a date with you, a client to get to meet you, a client to get to hire you. And some of the things I wrote down that I think is really important that I can share with you is, your business DNA for us is the growth of your business. Explain the growth of your business and explain the changes in the needs of your business that you're going to be providing for your clients. What are your core values is another essence of what your business or brand DNA. What are your core values? And I'll open it up to you in a second so you can give me answers on that. And what is important to you as the business owner for your business? Let your client or potential client understand why you want to be successful and why you want to give them something that is unique. And you have to provide that through some of our core DNA descriptions for us is trust is a single word. These are things you can put on your website. Clarity, connection, and understanding how to describe again, how to understand how to describe what you do. We all kind of do the same thing, but what you do personally for your business better be completely unique compared to all other people that you're competing against. So that's that's the simplicity of brand DNA or business DNA, which I think is important that we all evaluate now while we step forward.
And so for questions, if you guys would just type them in, Lisa and Linda will be fielding them and asking for you.
While waiting for some questions, we've been working on, or what you guys can also be working on is revisiting possibly tweaks in your website, in your marketing. These are those perfect times to be working with, whether you're doing it internally or with a company or whomever you're doing it with. This is the most important and usable time to allow there to be a shift in what you're visually seeing. Don't completely change your business, but allow it to evolve. This is where the
work on your
evolution can happen.
Exactly. Evolve your systems. So if you have the marketing systems, if you have the accounting systems in place, this is when you go in and you clean up your QuickBooks a little bit more, or you work with your bookkeeper a little bit more to figure out what are important things for you to watch in your business and your bottom line and what's going on. Look at how your systems are in place for your contracts. There's the question from Sonia about how are events going to look in the future with the social distancing and new regulations. look at your contracts, and you should put in there some clauses around how are you going to operate, how are you going to operate with any business disruptions if you don't have that in there. We already had in our contract a force majeure that covered us for cancellations and acts of God and all of this different stuff. But make sure that you have something in there that works for you, that is understandable to your client, that won't scare them off. It doesn't have to be crazy legalese language, but just something that does cover and touch on it. You know, events going forward, probably in the near term, will be a little bit more spread out. You still might have a nice group of people attending. You know, you'll have a good guest count, but the space that you might have put that guest count in is now going to be a lot larger, because you're not going to do tables of 12 or tables of 10. You're going to do tables of 6 or 8, and they're going to be larger tables where you're going to spread people out. You're going to have a larger dance floor. And people, when they come back to an event, they're still coming to an event. I think after this, they're still going to be ready to get on a dance floor. But
we just had this conversation. Joey and I just had this long and depth conversation last night.
But like what Cielo called a small dance floor for my birthday, you probably won't do. You're going to do a bigger dance floor.
There'll be the conversations within the event community is not, there's nothing that's been legitimized. It'll all come down, obviously, state by state, and all of those details will be dictated to us by someone that's actually mandating this. But what will be important, as Joey just explained, is the space, but what's going to be important for us as the planners or the people in the event industry is what that's going to equate to financially for the client. Because sometimes more space, and also obviously how many people can be in the space, is going to could potentially be more costly to the consumer. So we have to have all that intel, all that information before we now create our new budgets, our new realm of where we're going to have to be looking at the timelines of these events, again, capacity of the events, again, you know, entrances and exits of the events. All the simple things that we thought were just basic will now become a priority.
David, there's another question here from Deanna. And as we've adapted with Zoom and having to do certain events already over Zoom, your thoughts on providing virtual wedding guest packages. It's really opened it up to having people join events through Zoom. So she wanted to know recorded messages, special meals shipped, or just maybe cake and champagne toast. So what are your feelings about including that now into?
I think for some people that might be what we're talking about here, that you find new opportunities. For some people in their business model, this might be a perfect opportunity that let's offer virtual packages and create something around that, create what you're giving them, the special boxes and things. That's not going to be for every business owner, because I think that takes the right personality and that's the right mindset to go after that. But that could be something. There's definitely people already doing that now. Diana from Italy, she shared a great one that she did with a mother who was planning the 7th birthday for her son, and where Diana created a beautiful package and sent it to the mother, then was on a phone call with her to guide her through the setup of that. So it's all about what you want to do in your business, how do you want to be there and participate.
I also think that it is a perfect example of allowing yourself to be relevant in the times that we're currently in. So by doing that, you know, you're continuing the messaging of your company and allowing people to go for, and like Deanna's example is that that client will say to someone else, you know, do a virtual celebration, or they'll even say, look what she did for me, and now I would love to hire this company that's emotionally connected and tried to help and make something happen, that I'll hire them for my daughter's big wedding. So it's staying consistently relevant and connecting to other people that might not necessarily have considered you.
Well, and Gail brought up also an interesting point here, that perhaps you're going to have smaller guest count events, but now people where in the past they might have not Zoomed or streamed their event live to other guests that couldn't travel in, you may be going to have that thought process now. Instead of inviting 200 people, I'm going to invite my 80 close people, and those other 120 that are on that cusp, they're going to be on that live stream list that I'm going to give them this access to see it. I think that people are out there, consumers are out there right now. They are having, some of them having fun on Zoom with Zoom birthday parties and things like that, or happy hours, where some of them are going to want to continue that after the fact and incorporate that into their traditional event. So you could very well see that.
It's also great for, in Linda, your business, Linda Mitchell, is destination travel, is that when you're doing any of us that have worked on destination celebrations, it's just like Joey said, typically it's a 40 to 60 to 80 ratio of guests that'll go, and you may have a 200 guest count that you wish could go but can't afford to go, or you can't afford to pay for all of those people coming. And a lot of people do pick destination celebrations often to actually sometimes save on the guest count by being somewhere magical for 3 days. But here's the thing, you now can have that separate guest count that can't go, as you're referring to, be participating, because Zoom or WebEx or whatever format we're using has really kind of changed our lives. And not only for guests that are not able to attend a celebration, but we're able to do, I think, much more business, very controlled business, 45 one-hour phone calls with multiple people at one time. I mean, we've done this with our staff, but we never really have done it with clients and vendors together. So it's a great way to get concentrated work done and not have to spend so much time in so many meetings and collectively do it at one time. It's actually just helping us navigate our time management.
Yeah. I think also this is where, when you're looking at the event where you might have the in-person event plus a live stream of it or a video version of it, this is where creating great relationships with your photographers and videographers is going to come in. Like having somebody like Jacob to be able to shoot your event so beautifully, Victoria and Jacob, video side, to be able to create that quick little video that can even be shared with that guest count that doesn't come, more so in closer to real time, and having them involved. You might see more of that. I think where there was another question I saw from Bonnie about like temperature checks and the medical factor of this. In the near term, that's probably going to be a thing, because it sounds like it's going to be a thing even with employers of having more temperature checks and things like that. There's some things that are going to happen in the near term that I do think will go away. There will be some things that will stay.
I think it's a lot like reimagining. I heard yesterday, I thought was a really, really good word to think about in terms of all of this, because we're going to reimagine how it's going to look. And just think, before 9/11, being in the travel, you mentioned the travel industry, you couldn't even imagine what our lives were going to look like. And then it got reimagined into what we know today as just being regular, the way we travel. So again, we're going to reimagine our businesses to make it work in this new situation.
Yeah, and I think one of the things too is, when you're thinking about making it work, we've always wanted to create guest experiences and great experiences for our clients. I think you need to put that hat on and continue to keep that hat up now. So also, how do I make them feel safe and comfortable? Because I always had safety in my background. We did safety checks to make sure that you had the sandbags on your lighting, you didn't have arrangements that would fall over on anyone. You did safety things, but now you're going to take your safety a little higher, a little more visible. One of the things that we were talking about, even like with when we do meet in Orlando, we are going to have the air ventilators, the air filters in the room, those extra couple steps. You will have sanitations, little hand sanitizer stations and things like that, more so. One of the things that we're planning for Orlando too is that instead of our education tables that had everyone this close together, we will be a little farther apart and take a little bit more space. So there will be things like that that will definitely happen. I think Jeff has the question about caterers and having to serve the food and buffet lines and so on. What are your thoughts?
I think that's probably one of the hardest things is the on the side of catering. And if we think about even off-site premise catering, which now that I'm, we're gonna have this conversation, it is, not the most sterile scenario in general. They're shifting and moving and making things happen in off-site tents and, from the food getting from a hot box to a table or from a off-site kitchen to a waiter to a table. It's going to change. That's definitely going to be an issue and I think a challenge. But I think that should have been addressed pre all of this anyway. I think we need to step up our I don't want to say the precautions, but there
will be some things that happen, as you said, that should have happened a long time ago. So some places where there have been gray areas or skirted paths,
gray areas,
those will be cleaned up more. Will the cost increase? Bonnie, you're asking about the costs, and some are going to be astronomical. In some cases, probably they will go up, and there is going to be some scaling. In a lot of cases, they're going to go up, but there's going to be scaling, and I think that's where you go back to the point from Gail about perhaps that's where you scale down what the guest count is, and you're going to do a stream for some people.
We have to be we as the professionals that are planning, producing, creating these events, we have to have all of our intel very clear, and in providing that communication to our clients, because I think these bits and pieces that are all moving pieces right now are still the unknown. And we won't have that information until we're given that information, but we do have to also be leaders in the business to actually develop the direction, because I still think, and I've said this for far too many years, is that we are a very loosey-goose business and industry. We are. I mean, there's a lot of things that I see, there's a lot of things that I probably have done, and there's things that will continue to happen, that people are, they're winging it by the seat of their pants. There are safety issues, there are cleanliness issues. I mean, if I told you half the stories, you'd be shocked that I've seen back of house in hotels, back of house in tents. We do that because, again, everyone is rushing to get these jobs done. I mean, I even think of, cords across the floor without covers on them. Boxes that should have been removed by vendors that are, dangerous to be left where they are. But because we're trying to start at 7 o'clock on the nose for ceremony and then go into cocktails at a party, we're all leaving it behind because I don't think many people in our industry give us enough prep time to prepare ourselves for the simple word of safety. So this all falls in this realm of being safe, being careful, protecting the guests. I mean, I'm going to go back to a very old story and it's a good example actually, that has nothing to do with COVID, but what it has to do with is safety. And I was doing this amazing, massive Russian wedding at the Waldorf Astoria, when the Waldorf Astoria, was the largest venue of capacity for about 1,500 people for dinner. So I was planning and designing this event, and this is back in my earlier years, and on the stage was a full orchestra. I mean, it was a very over-the-top celebration, and I had columns on the stage, and I had urns on the columns, and the columns had stunning floral in them, and we were getting everything done. And then I would say maybe 5-10 minutes before the party started, one of the union workers of the hotel, who sets up tables and chairs and stuff for the hotel, had leaned on the column. The column hadn't fallen, but the urn had fallen. And I was right there, but it should have been secured. It should have been secured, and it wasn't properly, set in place. It didn't really hit him, it brushed him. Long story short, several months later, he attempted to sue us for $2 million. The reality was it was a failed attempt, but the point is that I should have had that secured. And anything that we do that is elevated, or anything on the ground that is unsafe, and anything in the kitchen, and now that we have to deal with being, sanitized and careful with social distancing, all of these things are just going to be added into the bigger picture that I think most of us in this industry weren't doing anyway. So now let's all step up and be better professionals and really lead the pack in how to make sure safety is in place.
And I think that's it, that right now, everybody in this industry has a chance to step up and become a leader in the industry and in how you operate with your clients and how you operate your business. There's always going to be unknown. Right now we have a lot of unknown, but there always will be unknown. Whether it's COVID or something else, there will always be this. So it's about how do you, instead of going and being a firefighter and putting out wildfires at your events, how do you prevent fires? How do you prevent confusion? How do you prevent frustration? And so it really comes back down to the good communication with your client, of setting expectations, understanding what their goals are, understanding what their concerns are, understanding what their overall objectives of their event, their wedding, their celebration might be. Who do they want to come? What do they want to experience? And so forth. And then outlining how are you going to go and achieve that. And then have those communications with your vendors and have them all together with your vendors. One of the things that Lisa does great on our team, Tammy does great, Dana does, is that they have these group calls with all vendors together. So everyone's hearing that same message. And it's not the game of telephone. So that way you don't get off the phone with one vendor who calls the next vendor that's part of the event and tells them what they think they heard. They all hear it at the same time from you and together.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because if you think about your vendors that you work with collectively, sometimes you may be using the same vendors, it's the same team, or you might be bringing in someone new because they may be providing a service that's necessary for this client. Is that many vendors may execute beautifully with what you want the final outcome to be, but may not be on the same page as you are in the way you run an event. So your point well taken is that you want your vendors to be all on the exact same page through the process of start to end.
David, another question that came in from Diana from Italy is that pretty much the couples, what she's finding in Italy is the couples there don't want to do their weddings in any anticipation that there might have to be masks or social distancing or all these things that are put in place. Particularly since the Prime Minister, she said, made a talk yesterday, she had another 3 couples postpone. How do you address that? Because we don't know the uncertainty of into even 2021, what's going to happen with these couples. How do you reassure them where we don't even know what's...
I think we cannot be leaders in reassuring them that that may not be the case. We would be setting up a false hope. We cannot determine if masks will be necessary. We don't know the details yet about where events will take place, when they can take place, which is why I'm trying to make everyone focus on how to, make their businesses stand out and be special and be unique and be connected and be positive. Because if we set that tone up and then we fail, we're going to be the ones that are responsible in the consumer's mind that you said that we'd be okay, but we're now not.
I think, we've seen a couple of our events move from 2020, summer of 2020 to summer of 2021.
Most of them have moved to 2021.
Because they don't want to be impacted by social distancing. So the client is driving that, and we're giving them the space to say, okay, we'll still be here with you for the event in 2021 because you're not comfortable to do it now, for whether it's having social distancing requirements or just worried that your guests aren't going to be comfortable with the travel and what have you. And so I think you just really have to deal with each client on the unique basis that they are and with their expectations and really understanding that.
I'd like to talk about some of the things that I've been listening to from other people have been this tone and how they're approaching themselves with a positive direction. So I'm not saying necessarily in an event, but how they're portraying themselves. And I think that that's really important. There's Cielo. Supposed to say hi? She's waving to everyone saying that. She's ready for the pool.
She's waiting for the pool.
That's awesome. I'll be with you in 10 minutes. Yes. Yes. That's how it happens when you work at home, right? That makes it just so perfect. So some of these simple things that I think often we forget is when you're having a form of communication with a current client that's been rescheduled, or a client that's considering hiring you for let's just pick 21. It is really imperative more now than ever that you position yourself with such strength and such positivity, not informing information that is not accurate. But what I'm talking about more is, going back to where I started with the DNA, is how you present yourself. You know, how do you look if you're doing a video call? And I'm not judging anybody by our call right now. This is internal. We're all family and friends. But I'm talking first appearances are always, you know, you cannot never make them go away. What does the space look like behind you? I've watched more videos online of people that have put together on YouTube or wherever they're positioning their message.
We watch some on network TV.
On network television. You're on CNN or any news outlet and you're doing an interview with, I don't know, let's say Anderson Cooper. I would hope to God you're not in front of whatever it is that they've chosen. Because that visual statement, to me, as a recipient who's receiving the information, you know, we're judging them by what's around them. It's not maybe fair, but it's true. We're humans by looking at, you're judging a book by its cover. We haven't opened the cover yet. But so when you get a chance to open the cover of who you are, always, I want your posture back, your voice to be strong, your voice to be calming. You don't want to show, a lot of people I'm speaking to or having conversations with have that slight hysteria in their sound of their voice. We all know many people like that. Unfortunately, our industry carries even more than we would wish to have. Going back, just to segue for a second, our business is filled with a lot of people that love to throw the gasoline on the fire, start the fire, run away, and then come back and be the savior of putting the fire out. That's our business model, and many people. Not us, probably not you, but we always want to present ourselves as being someone that's leading the moment, not trying to shift it or change it, but leading the tone, leading the moment, and making sure that you're speaking to them super calm. And at this time, more now than ever, it's about making them feel like they've got a friend. Yeah. And that they're going to be able to hire you or trust in you more today, no matter what you are, photographer, videographer, a marketing company, a designer, a planner, a florist, a rental company. You all, including myself, have to make sure that we're solid on our feet and visually presentable so they want to hire us or at least keep us to continue the events for 2021.
And I think for events that are moving forward still, there's the question about negativity surrounding those events, of people possibly judging, you know, the couple, or judging you for trying to, you know, still do an event right now, or in 3 months from now over the summer, of, oh, that's too soon. I think that's where it comes back to, you be the leader, you set the tone, you set what this is about. You're going to work with your client, you're going to work with your vendors on whatever safety precautions, whatever regulations might be put in place or guidance to have a safe, fun, enjoyable, memorable experience, keeping everyone still as healthy and fine as you could and not putting them into harm's way. I think that you lead by not going down some of the negative rabbit holes of, sometimes it can just be somebody that's just a negative person that's going to go after anything, regardless of what it is. So try not to go there with that. I think that's the same thing, even like where you might be looking at, you can't shift all your business to 2021, because you still need business now in 2020. And that comes back to Linda's comment or Deanna's comment earlier about what are other opportunities. There's that idea of, do you create virtual wedding packages? Is that how you make it through 2020? You look to
Correct.
see what are the opportunities in 2020 that you can do, because you still do need to make money this year. And that's what David and I were even talking about. That's what we're doing with our business. What are other opportunities we can do for 2020? Because it can't just be a bust.
You can't sit and wait. You cannot sit and wait. If you're sitting idle and waiting for tomorrow, it will pass you by faster than you will realize that you are left behind. And only you, each of you, can figure out how to do that. I mean, somehow, some way, Joey and I, you know, we're constantly thinking of ideas. And we've actually found some really great concepts that, you know, aren't going to be launched tomorrow, but they're going to be ready to be launched when it's ready to launch them. And that's being proactive, and that's allowing ourselves to see a business model that may not, you know, we stand in a place where, you know, our clients hire us predominantly have very large guest counts. You know, we have this one wedding, I think I spoke on our last call, Zoom call, was the wedding is 2,500 people. And, you know, it's, yeah, and it's in Asia, it's in Indonesia, and it's been shifted multiple times. I mean, we went from June to September to November, and now I think it's January of 2021 or February. But the point is that we're staying on top of them, which I want to talk about staying on top of clients now, is slight communications. You don't want to push on them, but you do want to let them know that you're present and that you're there. And one example that I have made is vendor communications. And Linda just did one to us, and Denise from Dogwood Blossoms also did one to us. And it was clever communication. It wasn't about, and I'll even show this one, and I've showed it to, you may have all seen this in another
call, because
but
there was a question in the Facebook group about like the handwritten messages and worrying about penmanship.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
penmanship,
it's a
it's about
perfect
the
example. I mean, this was a card from Denise at Dogwood Blossoms in Orlando, and she owns a stationery company. And this is what I love about it. It was simple. It was bright and yellow. It was designed beautifully. It was handwritten. And she wrote, "Cheers to challenges. Let's make this imperfect moment count. Air hugs, elbow bumps," and then she signs it from her and the name of her company. She wasn't asking for anything. She wasn't reminding me of anything. She was letting me know that she's still here and she's still staying connected. Linda did the same thing. Linda Mitchell did, from a luxury destination travel, did 2 luggage tags with her logo on it and a handwritten note on a separate card. And we, by the way, we all have time to do this right now. So pick the people you think should hear from you.
I think this is the time where you get to choose how to take your next steps. Sure, it can be scary. Sure, you can worry about things. There is uncertainty. But again, this is your time where you get to choose. Do you want to step up? Do you want to be a leader? Do you want to run your business, or do you want to let your business run you? So as you're looking at your future, looking at for new clients, looking at when you're going to schedule them, try not to be your own roadblock. Try to get out of your way of worrying about some of the what ifs. You know, what if this continues? Well, if it does continue, then you're going to push that event back with your client again. But don't run away from or shut down from not taking clients right now. You know, we actually, hopefully tomorrow, we'll be signing a contract with a new client. We met with them right before this all started. And we've stayed in communication with them through it all. Some of our communication to them has just been the checking in. There hasn't been one question about, are you going to sign the contract yet? It's, are you okay? What's going on? How are things? It's doing the relationship building and then just checking in on them. And now they're finally, you know, going to sign a contract tomorrow and make a deposit payment, which is awesome. And it's for an event for next summer, 2021. So, yep.
Another question here from Deanna, and she was Deanna Rousseau. With regards to there being only so many Saturdays, so what is your advice in terms of really how to sort of guide your clients over to not absolutely needing to have a Saturday. How do you make that exciting for them and a more popular option?
Think, you know, there are, it's such a valid point. There are just so many Saturdays, and then you take out all the holidays and they lessen and lessen. But if we are really, really, really clever and creative at what we do, and a Saturday is simply just not available for that consumer for that time of year that they want, you know, it's our job to come up with a package or a concept that would be wonderful on a Friday, Saturday, or a Sunday. And there's no reason why we have to all get stuck in the mindset that Saturday night's the best night. It's definitely, you know, that's the mindset predominantly of, you know, New York, Chicago, Miami, Los Angeles. I mean, everyone thinks that if you're not a Saturday night, you're not having a successful event. The reality is that I think that's completely inaccurate. And this is the model of where we can take a chance to make a difference and change the perception of what night is best. We're kind of at the point now where we have almost like a book filled with all our information, and now we came to the last page, close the book, and now we're given a new book with nothing written. And we could start to set the next chapters and the next story and the next bit of information, facts, and contents based upon what we individually want to write for both ourselves, our business model for us as a business, and for our clients to understand how we want to operate for them. It always must be about our clients.
It has to be client-centered.
Yeah, and I know that I've said more times than I need to, you know, and I'll constantly say it as a friendly reminder. We have to still love what we do. We don't have to love our clients. We have to love what we do for our clients. And that's if we could keep that in our head, it'll allow us to have longevity in our industry. I mean, 33 years for me doing this, and I still love what I do. Listen, I can tell more stories about the clients I don't love than the ones I do. But I don't, because I would rather remember the ones that are amazing.
We thank you guys again for coming, for joining us today, for your continued excitement, your engagement, and we just really can't look forward to being together in person in August.
Yes.
Continue to look at ways that you want to show up in all of this. You want to show up for your business. You know, you can be like Ari, who is in the Washington, D.C. area. She contacted her local media, and she was there on the local news channel talking about weddings, talking about what she's doing. You can be a leader. You can set yourself up in so many different ways.
That's correct.
By going out there.
You don't have to be a leader by being someone who is mega successful. A leader's determined by the information you give, not where you are in your life. And I think that we get so nervous about being a leader and failing. I mean, your videos to us in the beginning of this were so amazing that if you don't know you're being a leader and you're being a really great leader, I guess, then I think that's actually genuine. And that's, I think, what we all need to be, is genuine, connected, and connected.
Build your relationships. Keep building them. You know, there will be hard days that you'll have. You'll have those days of doubts. You're going to have the days of, why am I doing this? You're going to have the fear of, well, if I do this, then X, Y, Z could happen, or I could fail, or it won't work. Yeah, it might not work, but it might. And it might blow your mind and be so much better than you could have even imagined. And it's going to happen so differently than you imagined as well. So the point is, you just have to keep trying. You have to keep that effort in place. You can't curl up into a ball. You know, find joy every day in what you do. Find joy in how you stay connected, and rely on your support systems. Know that you're not in this alone. You have all of us, and I'm sure you have a lot more people too in your family and in your community around you. So believe in yourself first and foremost, and smile.
Guys, everyone, for being part of today. Thank you. We'll see you next.
Thanks, everyone. See you next month.
Bye, everyone.